Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Jo. I am Belushi Stitches here on Flosstube and also over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. This channel is about cross stitch. This particular series of videos relates to chatelaine designs and the Chatelaine Chronicles. This series is going to follow the design of Versailles. Welcome to any new viewers and subscribers here. I'm glad to have you watching along, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much for following my chatelaine journey. I've started the next section, which are these fan gardens on the top, bottom, left and right side. I've put in this row, this kind of outside bottom border, so it's sort of long ways like that. Long ways like this. I've put in this treasure braid down here, and it's antique gold treasure braid. I'm just going to bring you really close in because I don't know if you can see, it has got sort of, well, that looks a bit extreme, but it does have this kind of black and gold look to it. It's really cool. So I've done that, and then I've started up here on some water lilies. So this is a Karen water lily silk. This is where I'm a bit stuck, and I've just been in the chatelaine support group on Facebook just to try and see what the best thing is to do. There are full crosses, 1, 2, and then a partial stitch, and then full crosses. But as this goes sort of diagonally down here, you end up with sort of a half stitch, or it's going to be like a 3/4 stitch, quarter stitch, and they just go down. There's just loads and loads and loads of them. And I'm just wondering if this is too, I don't know, bulky. In between each of those, there is a back stitch. So I'm just wondering if I can just do 2 little half stitches. So instead of, let's just say, for example, here, instead of going into the middle and doing this leg that goes across, if I just do the half stitch, well, it's not a half stitch, just do that leg, and then do the same on the other side, the back stitch will go through between them. And I've just been looking, and someone has sort of done it like that using just these half stitches, and I've seen the finished piece and it just looks amazing. So I'm in a bit of a quandary. I could try it on this garden, and if I hate it, you know, the thing is, once you start on this stuff, you can't frog too much of it. It would be a nightmare to frog because there's so many colours in here. Yeah, I don't really know what the best thing is to do, because also the back stitch is going to be going, where's my needle? So for instance, on this one here, I'll have this and this top leg, and then on the other colour I'll have just like a little stitch going from the outside into the middle. And then it's also going to have back stitch going over the top. So all of this is going to have back stitch going the same way as this top leg. So I'm just wondering if I need it. My gut's telling me to just do the tiny stitches and let the back stitch deal with it afterwards. In the grand scheme of things, like all of these things, in the grand scheme of things, I agonize over them now, but later on you won't be able to even see it. You won't even notice it. I think I'm going to unpick this and do just, the rule is just do the half stitches, I reckon, and let the back stitch sort of deal with the rest of it. There are some sort of in the bottom half that then go the other way, so the back stitch would be going, yeah, like, how do I do those? Oh, I guess in the same way, you just go into the corner, from the corner into the middle, I guess, and make things a lot easier. I have done this before on some other normal pieces, knowing that there's back stitch. When I say normal pieces, I mean not chatelaine, sorry. When I know there's not back stitch, sorry, when I know there is back stitch, then I won't do the full like 3/4 and quarter stitch and any of that stuff. I just won't bother with the top leg essentially, because I know back stitch is just going to go straight across the middle. It's difficult. I think I'm going to do it. I don't like deciding which colour to have as the dominant colour. And yeah, I think the back stitch is going to deal with this. I think I'll just deal with it. Okay, back in a bit. So this is the centerpiece of Versailles that you can see on the screen. Sorry, my hand's wobbling around. And I'm just going to move the camera out so you can see where I am so far in the next part. So the fan gardens are to the right, left, bottom and top of this centre motif, and they fit in like so. This is this one day? This is one day of stitching, but like a full day of stitching minus a walk with my parents' dog and my mum and a wander to a shed place that was closed, and then doing the recycling, doing some washing, pottering around the house. So this is sort of on and off throughout the day. So I'm just going to move the light a minute. This is the sort of left hand side, and then there's a big chunk of big rice stitches, which I'll show you later. They come here, and then here's the sort of centerpiece here, and then it's the repeat is on the other side. And I think bar a couple of colours, well, in fact I think bar one colour, it's exactly the same. I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to doing this bit 8 times, but I obviously will have to, and that's just the way that it is. This has been interesting. So I will bring you in a second, but we've got petite treasure braid here around the outside. We've got some silks. I don't think we've had any DMC yet. We've got a pearl, where is it? Here and here, 1 strand pearl. This dark green here is a treasure braid lame thread, and yeah, this has been fun, but like this is something else. So I'm just going to bring you in a lot. So I had a bit of a dilemma. The instructions for the pattern, when I say the instructions, I mean the actual, like the stitching instructions that come with the pattern, not the instructions of how to stitch and what colours to stitch. That comes separately and wasn't with the pattern. So in the pattern it says, oh, do if it's full cross, do 2 strands. If it's back stitch, do 1 strand. So these are like the basic stitch instructions that come with the pattern. And it says if it's half stitches, you'll see 2 different symbols in the bottom corner of each square, but then it says use 1 strand, blah blah blah, and then it also says, the next bullet point says you might see fractional stitches, so 3/4 quarter stitches, 3/4 and quarter stitches, and then choose whichever colour you want to be dominant to do the 3/4 stitch in. So I'm only on the second part, so I might just not have found the symbols yet that are obvious, but what I chose to do here is 2 quarter stitches. There is a full cross here. That's a full cross. And then to the right hand side of this full cross, here's a full cross as well. And so above this full cross, so this square here would have been a full cross, but instead the bottom left bit is a quarter stitch into the middle. So bottom left into the middle, and then this top right bit is a dark green thread, and that's top right into the middle. So that technically is 1 leg of a full cross. And what I'm expecting, am I expecting it on this one? Hang on, just using my eyes. Yeah, what I'm expecting is along here is a bit of black back stitch. So that's like the top leg. But it'll be in 1 strand instead of 2. So I'm not entirely sure I've done this right. Maybe I should have done, say this is the dominant colour, because this is like the main yellow chunk. Maybe I should have done this stitch into the middle and then the full top leg. And then back stitch with 1 strand over the top wouldn't show too much. I am worried. Am I worried? I'm not worried, but I'm wondering if this is going to be a bit empty once I put the back stitch in and it's only 1 strand. They are these little half stitches. Quarter stitches are absolutely everywhere. and yeah, they are absolutely everywhere. So until I've done the back stitch, I can't really tell. But now I've started, I think, you know, that's it now. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I've chosen. That's what I've gone with. I'm sure it'll look fine. But yes, this has been, well, it's been quite fun. It's been fun. It takes a lot of sort of counting and just concentration. Frankly, how I haven't managed to go really wrong is beyond me at this point in time. But I've done all right, it seems. So, well, I mean, obviously, cross fingers. So, yes, there's now a section. There's a section here, or all of this is repeated on the other side. There's a section here with green stitches. It's not as green as I thought it was going to be. Dense road stitches and Algerian eyelets. And interestingly, when I've looked at people's designs on the Facebook group, some of them have just stitched like a big cross, which is on the pattern, but when you read the instructions they say to do dense road stitches, which is very, very different than just doing a sort of big cross. So I mean, yeah, like with a lot of these things, you know, when I did Evening in the Park, I made a lot of personalizations in there and read the pattern wrong on some of it and just did it, and you can't tell, and it's fine. So I think no matter what happens in this one, it's going to be stunning when it's finished. I mean, honestly, just look at it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah, you can kind of see when the back stitch is on, it'll be really obvious, but you can kind of, where am I? You can kind of see here, like it kind of fans out, and then here there is just this sort of big looping back stitch to go on, which would be lovely. And also, can you see the difference in the variegation between, so you've got this sort of dark greeny browny colour here, and then this bright blue here. The same thread is this light green up here, so it's the same variegated thread, just stretching through. So it looks very different, but it's the same piece of thread. I guess it's the same here as well. Hang on, just bringing my pointy thing. I shouldn't do this. There's this blue around the outside, and then on the equal and opposite side, it's this light green. So, yeah, very, very pretty. And I've got some really lovely bits coming up in here that will really transform this. But yeah, it's not bad going, but I'm I know I got to do that 8 times. Not my favorite, but it is absolutely stunning. I think as soon as I get some back stitch in it, and there are some specialty stitches left in here, like here there's a diamond eyelet and a eyelety thing, I don't know, and then all these other sort of bits of beads that are red, that need stitching in, and then there's some purple Jessica stitches here. Now I haven't done Jessica stitches before, so I'm quite looking forward to those. Yeah, and then there's just this sort of all this yellow gold stuff that goes around the outside. It's very exciting. It is cool. It is quite shiny. This treasure braid right around the outside is quite shiny. It just sort of doesn't really show on the camera. Anyway, that's 11 minutes of me waffling. Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm just jumping into probably some future videos here. What I've done is I have stitched this. I will get my words out in a minute. Hang on. I've stitched this first fan garden, and I have to say it looks absolutely amazing with no light shining on it. You can really see the eyelets and the holes through the fabric. It's fantastic. So I'm at the stage where all the cross stitching is done, and then I was starting to do some of the specialty stitches you kind of have to do as you go in order to get a kind of framework for it. So for instance, all of this stuff down here, they are eyelets, which you should be able to see. Yeah, some stuff there. That you have to kind of do those first to count off of here. Anyway, so I got this far, and I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to skip to the centerpiece. So in the centerpiece, using the instructions, which I know are not they're not Martina's instructions. They're instructions that I think have been written by a few people in the group. So I'm using those as I go along. And specifically for these little green stitches, these little long stitches here, it says that the bottom 2 should be in black 310. So that's what I've done, and that's why you've got these little black V's going all the way around here. When you look at the pattern, I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. So these are the long stitches, and then here are these little black lines here. One there, one there. It's green because I've highlighted it all. So these two black lines here at the bottom, that's what they're referring to. So I've put them in here. So then there's this bead here, and it's surrounded by what I thought were 4 lines of little backstitch, given that this bit here is in the instructions saying that these are actual stitches. So I've put them in here, and this is what they look like. So they're these little V stitches, whoops, surrounding the beads. And I did think at the time, gosh, that looks a bit strange, but it kind of highlights the beads. I thought, okay, just go with it, and fine. So I've done that. On the pattern, you get the pattern which I showed you a second ago, and then you also get a zoomed in pattern which shows the back stitch. So I'm going to show you. So here's a little bit. Very, very thick lines show the back stitch. And when you come onto this centerpiece again, these 2 lines here at the bottom of those little V stitches are not in thick. This is thick, that is back stitch. And then when I come to the this kind of center bead with bits around it, that's not thick, but this is thick. I know it's a bit faded here, but this is a thick line. So I've now come to the conclusion this is not back stitch. This here at the bottom of these V shapes is not back stitch. It's purely showing you where the fractional stitch is. So I'm now on a bit of the pattern for Versailles, and this looks really horrible, so please don't be put off. Please don't be put off watching this. What I'm trying to show you is, here are the big downward triangles. That's a full cross. And then here, that's the same symbol in the top right. That's this arrowy symbol in the bottom left. And this is not back stitch. This line, this long line, will be back stitch. This isn't back stitch. So from this particular piece of the pattern, it's tricky to see which bit will be, which bit won't be. So for instance, this bit here, that I'm pointing to here, this happens to be in the same way as the big design, the big sort of circular design going around here. And so this will be proper back stitch, but it's also got this thin line that shows a fractional stitch, I think. So then when you go on to the blown up version, which has got big chunky back stitch, and it shows you exactly like where to put the big stitches, and you can zoom in. These are the beads now, these blobs, so you can't use this to work on it with the beads, but it shows here clearly. Here's the big chunky back stitch, and then here are these tiny little lines which I've sort of had in my head that they would be back stitch, but they did seem to be popping up in really strange places, especially if you choose 310. So I am now of the conclusion that this is not back stitch. They are purely the lines that separate 2 fractional stitches. So maybe, I don't know, a 3/4 stitch and then a 1/4 stitch or whatever. So what I've done is 2 half stitches, because I hate fractional stitches. Normally there's back stitch that goes through them all. And in this case, on the pattern, there was back stitch that went through them all. These little black lines that went through them, I thought, oh, that'll be fine. So it doesn't matter if you don't do the full sort of 3/4 stitch and then a 1/4 stitch. It'll be absolutely fine. But now, turns out, that is not back stitched. So I think I'll probably leave all this stuff as it is, but I am going to put the back stitch in ASAP and see if I like it. And if it looks crap, I'm going to have to go over the whole of this, just sort of doing those top legs to make them 3/4 stitches. Where I will change it is, for example, down here, where I just have a really small little half stitch, and then there's a specialty stitch in here, and I think this will look better if it's got a top leg. And the same for in here. This has got, is it a bead? This has got a bead in here, and I think that this should have this sort of quarter, this sort of slightly bigger stitch with a top leg put in. So I think I'm going to change it there as well. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I think, is, again, I thought that all this stuff was rounded off with backstitch, even if it was backstitch in the same colour, which I guess is essentially putting the top leg on. But I thought it was sort of going to be finished off later, and it's not. It's not, I don't think. So I'm going to go back, and anything that's like this tiny little half stitch that I've put in here, I'm just going to put the top leg on, and it might smooth some of it out a little bit more. So a bit of frustration, I'll be honest. I've done a lot of work on this, and I'm really hoping that it won't look crap. I think what I need to do really quickly is get the back stitch, those sort of long stitches on here put in, and then I'll know. And if it looks awful, then I'll take the highlighting off the whole lot and just put the top legs on. I suspect this might look okay. It might look a bit thin, but it might look okay. But it might be, I've got to do this 4 times. And if you think about it, I've got to do it 8 times, one each side of these big chunky motifs. So it'll be worth getting it right. And I don't want to just mess it up. Like you can see here, when I take the camera out a bit, these tiny, tiny little stitches. Yeah, I thought it would sort of be bulked out with some backstitch. Not necessarily in 310, as I said, not necessarily in 310, but I thought maybe it would be in there, but it's not. So, yeah, I think it's worth getting it right. And I'm a bit annoyed about it, but that's my fault. And I even read the pattern in advance. Anyway, what I will show you, just on the plus side, is my very first Jessica stitches, which are these little pinky purple ones. Normally, I think a Jessica stitch would be slightly bigger, and you would have... Why is there a gap there? I need to investigate that. Yeah, I don't know. So they're pretty cool. Yeah, normally you'd have a gap in the middle so you'd see some of the fabric. It's not like an eyelet. You wouldn't pull the fabric to get a hole in it. You would just have the sort of the stitches around the outside of the space, and then white, the fabric showing through in the middle. So it's got a really cool design. If it's a bigger one, these are very small. They don't look too different to dense rose stitches, except they look a bit more circular. But anyway, this is, as we call it, a work in progress. So plenty to change. I can change things at any time, and I'm happy with the progress. I just need to, if I can just, like when you like you need to frog something, I'm very much like, take it out now and restitch it as soon as possible. Otherwise it'll go away in a cupboard for a really long time. So yeah, I'm going to fix this ASAP so I can move on. Right, see you in a bit. Bye. Hi everyone. I've put some backstitch on now. I'm just going to make my screen a bit brighter because I can't see what I'm showing you. There you go. So I've put the long back stitching on now, and I don't like it. It's too empty. You can see the fabric through it all. It's not quite right for me. So I'm just going to quickly whip the back stitch back out, and then I am going to go through this stuff and put top legs on things. I'll probably prioritise the colours inside the fans, because you've got to I think that's one of the things that why I've done this, and I don't like doing fractional stitches, because you have to decide which colour to use as the dominant one, and I don't like making decisions. So yeah, so I'm going to take it out and start again. That's just too even from here, like you can see, it's all, yeah, I don't like it. So I'm gonna start going through it all, and I'm gonna do it now. It's first thing in the morning on Sunday. I haven't even had my coffee. It's literally sat next to me, cooling off. I'm gonna do it now so it's done. Otherwise I will put this away and I will not pick this up. So wish me luck. Bye. First things first, I am unpicking the back stitch. It's gone dark again, hang on. I'm unpicking the back stitch in this centre motif. So I've taken it out all the way on this side. The only bit that's left is here, so you can kind of see this back stitch here. It's not really dark enough, and when I look at pictures of other people's, this band of yellow rice stitches really stands out, and it's because it's back stitched both inside and outside in a dark colour. So yeah, just doing this one now. Okay, I think I prefer it. I've done it now in some lame. I still need to work out how to say that. Don't these look cool down here? They look like proper little pyramids. I think now that middle piece kind of stands out a bit more, and I feel like that ring of rice stitches kind of stands out a bit more. So I quite like it now. So I'm chuffed with that. I feel good that that's done, and I'm just going to be methodically working my way through every other bit. Okay, so all I've done is fill in, where's my pointy implement? All I've done is fill in these crosses with the top leg, these tiny little ones here. And then the second thing I've done is I've chosen, which colour is it? Hang on, I'm just thinking. Oh, it's this one. It's this light blue colour that goes all the way around here. I've just filled in like this leg, this leg, this leg, literally just top legs just to make them 3/4 stitches. And I think already you can see the difference between this is far more filled out, just this blue strip that goes around and a little bit up there that I did, compared to this. And this blue swirl here is pretty minimal. So I think already we can see that it will make a difference, and it needs to be fully filled in. Back stitch isn't, the back stitch here, because it's one strand, isn't going to fill the gaps. It's not supposed to fill the gaps, it's just supposed to accent the pattern that's already below it, which is not fully stitched properly. So decision 100% made. It's going to take ages, but yeah, I'm going to build this up, and then I'll know for next time, which you would have already seen. So yes, thank you. Bye. Hello there. Okay, so I've spent a little bit of time and I've gone over every single bit of this section now because I really thought I should. So what I did is I took the highlighting, I might have already said this, I took the highlighter off of the PDF completely, off of the whole of this section, and just basically started again. And if I'd already done a full cross, I marked it off, and if I hadn't done a full cross, then I worked out which one I wanted to do. And essentially I sort of prioritised these colours going into these, not this sort of individual yellow sections, but these bits going into the centre. I prioritised those and then just picked one. Anyway, so I'm going to put this to the side. So I'm just going to draw out a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll put in a picture here of what it looked like before, so that we can see the difference. So yeah, it's all fully done now. I think I've got some gold back stitching up here that I did on this section, and then decided on the pattern the back stitch is different colour on this side than it is on this side, but in the instructions it says just to use this one colour all the way around, and I will do that because I can't choose different colours. So I'm going to do that, and then there's some sort of turquoisey, I think bluey turquoisey stitches down here, and then I feel like that's kind of it for all of the stitching. And then I'm wondering if it's just back stitch then and beading. We'll find out. Anyway, I am happier with this now, and I think, already even without the back stitch you can kind of see quite clearly this marked out, so I think I've done the right thing. Yeah, and that's fine. I've learnt on this one, and what I'll do is replicate that on the other three, so it's all good, and it will take me less time. I appreciate I've used more thread on this section now because I've had to sort of start and end threads and travel to places I wouldn't have had to have done before, but I'm just gonna hope for the best that I don't run out of thread, and it's all fine. I'm liking the inside green here. It's a bit darker in the picture than it is in real life. I think it's okay. It's not perfect. It's probably not the right colour, but I think it makes it all stand out okay. So I'm happy with it. Right, see you in a bit. Bye. As always, this looks absolutely unsparkly, and it's just such a shame. It's such a shame I can't show you just how sparkly it is. It is absolutely just full of bling. It's fantastic. So I'll bring you in a little bit. You would have already seen, obviously, all of this being built up in the other one. But yeah, this is on the other side. It's exactly the same. The ones on the left, I would have said this a number of times, the ones on the left and the right of the centre motif are exactly the same. And it's only the top and bottom, so the north and south fan gardens, that have got slightly different centres, I think. Yes, definitely true. That one looks a bit, looks like it could do with a little bit of a shove up, but it's okay. So, yeah, you can see a bit more of the shine when I hold it at certain silly angles. I'm doing this weird angle on purpose just to try and get a bit more shine in. It's yeah, it's really pretty. The main ones, oh yeah, you can see it a bit there. These gold ones here really shine, and then all of this in the centre is just very bright and light coloured. You're seeing it a bit as I'm moving it. I know that movement of these things aren't for everybody, so I appreciate that. But yeah, this was the one where I have stitched it. I've done all the cross stitch with a few specialty stitches, and then I've gone over the whole thing again to put the top legs in. You can see actually there's a slot. You can see here this leg here, and this leg here, and this leg here, and this leg here. They're slightly different colours to the main cross stitches underneath, and it's exactly for that reason, in that I've come back over and done it in that one there is a slightly different colour. Yeah, in that I've done it a second time and put the top legs over the top, so they're not all completely the same because I'm using a different part of the thread, and I'm not gonna fussy cut it, if that's a term that some of you or all of you may be familiar with. I'm not gonna specifically find a bit of thread that happens to match the same colour and do it. I'm just not gonna do that. So yeah, you can see it a bit more here. There's like a green one there. There's a bit of a green one there. It doesn't really match the stitch underneath, but like a lot of these things, I wouldn't know. So I'm going to come back out again. Whee! Yeah, and there we go. That is it's just the light shining makes this bottom one looks like it's sticking out. It isn't. It's just that the the light is casting a shadow. That's all it is. So it's absolutely fine. But yeah, hang on. So this is where we are so far. So there's these little dots here. This is just fluff from my jumper. There's a lot of fluff on this bit here, which I'm sort of limp rollering occasionally. There's a black dot that you'll see in a second. Da, da, da. That is not a bit of fluff. That is an actual mark on the fabric. I'm absolutely fuming about it. But it happened a couple of weeks ago, so I'm sort of over it now. It was, I think, I've got this stand, this sort of clamp that I've got a camera arm above, which has got lots of dials and knobs to turn to get the right placement, and little black kind of shards of, I don't know, metal or just the sort of the black coating on things. When I adjust this camera, these little black sort of specks just appear on the fabric, and I think that one fell down. I thought that it was a piece of fluff, and I've just sort of moved it, and unfortunately it's now spread. It's now spread. So I did count, and you may have already seen this as well, I did count from here to here, and I think depending on how well I counted, I'm sort of one stitch out. It might be covered by like one row, like the top half of the mess of the stain here might be like the top half of this might be covered by some stitching. Yeah, we're going to have to see what happens. Worst case scenario, I think just a couple of white beads on it or something. But obviously on all four corners, so it doesn't stand out. I don't think that would be too ridiculous. But yeah, I'm I'm really annoyed. I'm really annoyed about it. Anyway, back to the fan garden. That's 1 out of 4. And then hopefully when I go back to you in a second, you'll see that there's another one here and it's 2 out of 4. I'm recording this, when are we? Where are we? End of October, middle of October, and hopefully there'll be a chance later on to slot this in, because I don't think I'll have an opportunity to show you how this looks now without other stuff around it. So if I just bring the camera out, I'll show you where I am. So I started with the centre motif here, and then I moved to this right fan garden, and the left fan garden is completed as of today. It is absolutely identical. It's got my own personalizations in it because the instructions are nearly matching the pattern, but there are a couple of bits that I've just made up myself, like this dark green on the inside here. I would have said this to you already. Anyway, so this is now done. This is the left fan garden. It's got specialty stitches, metallics, backstitch, beads. It's just beautiful. I think that, yeah, these fan bits are just my favourite. They're so cool. And it took me a while to get back to this one. I had a little bit of stitching left, and quite a few of these specialty stitches, like these Jessica stitches and this stuff here. But and then all the backstitch and all the beading. But I went to the retreat in September, end of September, and I kind of stopped working on it to go to the retreat. And then it's just one of those things that, like, once you pick up, for me anyway, once I pick it up, I'm like, oh, I work on it loads and I love it, and I think this is the only thing I want to work on. And then you kind of stop for whatever reason and work on something else, and then it just kind of disappears off to the side. I think also this one just takes a little bit more of a setup, I guess. I've got a frame, I've got a light attached to the frame. No, I haven't. I've got a light attached to the stand, sorry. There you go. Oh, just see my cat wandering somewhere. I'm not sure what he's doing. And then I've got a box of gear. Hang on. And so this is my acrylic box of stuff. It's got my Kindle, my little notions bag, all the floss in little bags, highlighters for the pattern, bit of DMC shoved in the corner there. And yeah, so it just takes a little bit of sort of, there you go. My box here was £4.99. And it just takes a little bit more space up, I guess. Oh yeah, and then there's just a tea towel. Because the box has got kind of like lines on the bottom, and I don't want to get the lines indented in my sofa. And I think there's an obligatory cat hair. Yeah. So that's why, I think. And yeah, this is the frame with the light attached. So I think once it's out, I work on it, but I don't have anywhere at the moment where I can just put this frame, I keep saying frame, I mean stand, put this floor stand away quickly and easily. The cupboard under the stairs is full of other stuff. So it's either keep the stand out and work on the chatelaine, or if the stand has to go away, frankly, the chatelaine's going to go away as well. I've actually just been stashing this against the wall in my living room, so it's really dusty now, but I realise I need to get some sort of guard for it. Anyway, bit of rambling for you. I'm just going to show you the dark mark on the fabric, which I'm very, very disappointed about. I'm hoping I can stitch over that later. And then yeah, so what's up next? If I just come back out again. Where's the top? There you go. So I've got another one. Well, they're nearly all symmetrical. So I've got these two now to go at the bottom and at the top. And they're nearly all the same, apart from the right in the inside. One's got King Louis's monogram, and the other one has got Marie Antoinette's monogram. I think they're their monograms. Certainly for they're certainly their initials, which I think they are also their monograms. But I'm going to thoroughly enjoy looking that up to find out. And yes, so I'm going to start on the one above. I can't remember whose is who, which one's Louise or Marie Antoinette. So I'm going to start on the one at the top, and yeah, just get on with it. I'm absolutely loving it, as I hope you can tell. And as my friend Emma pointed out, Emma X Stitching pointed out the other week, these look like little bead ghosts, which they actually do. Hilarious. So yeah, this is where I am at the moment. I was just thinking as well, just in terms of sort of context of size, I guess this is like a standard gift tag that you would just buy from anywhere. That's the size. So it's quite chunky. Ooh, hang on, I've got a tape measure. Okay, I've got a tape measure, and from this edge all the way to this edge is 32 centimetres. So just over 12 inches already. And it's probably, from the centre to here is probably halfway to the outside, I reckon. So, I mean, loads left to do. This one is this is going to be massive. Oh, it's just so lush. I love it so much. Right, well, yes, hopefully this is slotted in somewhere sensible, and probably going to go back to me. Bye. So that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button, which is the thumbs up below. And if you're not yet a subscriber, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. If you are a subscriber, there's a notification bell as well, which you can click to be notified of my next video. If you did want to support my channel in a different way, I've got a Ko-fi link, or K-O-F-I, Ko-fi, similar to a Buy Me a Coffee link below in the description box. And I thought I'd give you a bit of a sneak peek as to a future video in the background here, which hopefully you'll be able to see shortly. Thank you very much again for watching. Bye!